Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lisa Jang, your Yin Yoga teacher, practitioner, as well as teacher trainer. Today's practice, you'll need a couple blocks as well as a strap. If you don't have one, you can also use a belt from a robe or even a tie. And a blanket and a bolster is going to be handy as well for this practice. Today is all about letting go, walking away of letting go of things that you don't need. So we're going to be really working into releasing through the upper body. So are you ready? Let's begin. So grab your blocks. And let's start off in our supported fish pose. So I'm going to have a block right at the bottom tips of my shoulder blades, and then one for behind my head to support me. Go ahead and lay down onto your props. And your legs can be however you like. As you're here, your legs can be sprawled out. Your legs can be in butterfly pose. You can have your feet down towards the ground, knocking the knees in. Choosing just what works for you for opening meditation. So as you're here, just begin to dim your gaze, soften your gaze. If you're comfortable, begin to close your eyes. Let your palms face up, back of hands resting down towards the ground. And begin by taking a slow in breath through your nose and a slow deep out breath in your mouth. Again, slow deep in breath in your nose and a slow deep out breath in your mouth. And one more time, slow deep in breath in your nose and slow deep out breath in your mouth. So today is about reclaiming your power, about letting go of things that you don't need. And so for today, we'll be working through the upper body meridian, through the lungs, and being courageous enough to open up your heart space for new opportunities. If you have another intention, go ahead and set that here right now. Otherwise, breathe in your intention. And as you breathe out, gently just start to let go of anything that you don't need for this practice right here, right now. So whether it's maybe something in the forefront of your mind that you're thinking about, just let that go so that you can really tap into your inner wisdom as we move through today's practice. Take one more slow, deep in breath and a slow, deep out breath. When you're ready, go ahead and stretch your arms and legs long. Reach long behind you, opening up through the front body and already creating space. From here, go ahead and slowly bring your feet back down towards the earth. I'm going to go ahead and interlace my fingers behind my head. Elbows point up. I'm going to move the other block that is behind my head off to the side. I'm going to work into the back of the lungs, into the upper back. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and slowly lean back into extension. Make sure it feels good for you. And I'm going to slowly tuck my chin in for a little bit of flexion in the spine, feeling the block pressing towards my upper back. Again, slowly taking your head back, feeling your hands support your head. So your head or your neck is not doing any work. And then slowly starting to come all the way up into your own range of motion. Again, deep inhale. And slow, deep exhale. Now, as you're here, you can also kind of just rock from side to side. Just kind of getting into the upper back there, in towards the shoulder blades, the rhomboids, the tissues that surround the upper back, and behind the lungs. Do this a couple more times. And then as you're ready, we're going to go ahead and slowly engage your core, engage your head, and then slowly start to come all the way up. You can roll to the side if you like to come all the way up. Otherwise, taking a moment here just to sit crisscross and just breathing in. And then softly breathing out. Noticing already that deep movement of the energy in the upper back being invigorated. I'm feeling a sense of warmth and energy moving through that, so it feels quite nice. From here, we're coming into our first pose to open up through the back body. And so I'm going to grab my blanket for my knees. So you might want to do that as well. Grab a blanket for your knees. And from here, I'll show you from this angle so that you can see. Coming to tabletop and then taking your right arm underneath for thread the needle. As you're here, letting the right side of your head come down towards the ground. Now, let your shin bones swivel towards your left and kick your left leg out towards the side. So this might resonate with you. And then finger crawl, if you can see the screen, finger crawl your left hand forward as you're here and gently walk that hand up and over towards your right to get a little bit deeper opening through the back of your shoulder. Hopefully you can hear me with the microphone on the right side of me. I'm going to show you as well sideways. So as you're here, and let me check the time so that we're even on both sides. So from here, if you look, and you can stay with that first variation, I'm gonna take my right arm underneath as I'm here, kickstand my left leg off to the side. And then I'm going to reach that left hand up and over and walk it over towards the right. And I might hold on to my left shin bone to get into what we call rolling panda pose. Wrapping your left hand behind your back is another option. Making sure your neck feels okay. There's not too much pressure. But you should feel here a nice gentle tug of the tissues in towards the back of your right lung. The side of your neck should feel okay as well. In fact, you should feel a sense of relief. And it's nice just to lean into Mother Earth, right? So taking your time, if being on your knee doesn't resonate with you, you can always, as you're here, let me move so that you can maybe see me a little bit better. You can lay onto your belly in a Sphinx pose and then thread your right arm underneath as you're here, really getting into that right shoulder. It's going to target the tissue differently, but the idea here is to get into the back of your right lung. So I talked about really letting go of things that don't serve you. So really kind of walking away. So I'm just going to take a moment here to ask you just to breathe and soften your gaze. And just notice as you're here what comes up for you, right? Are there things in the front of your mind that is taking up a lot of your energy, right? So that's the first indication of when you need to walk away. If a situationship or if an environment is draining so much of your energy where you feel depleted, right? Then that is a strong indicator that maybe you should walk away. And that does take courage. So taking a moment here to reflect in your rolling panda pose and breathing. You've got 30 more seconds here to go on your right side. Again, feel free to take other variations. Sometimes I'll use my left hand to push my right hand towards the left side of the room to get a little bit more traction in the shoulder. And then as you're ready, feel free to stay if this is resonating with you. Otherwise, slide your left hand back down and then take your time to unravel from your rolling panda pose. Taking a moment here in rebound or resonance, whether it be child's pose or even, I like to move sometimes right after that rolling panda, an easy downward cat and an easy upward cat. It always feels good to kind of move through the spine in this way. Again, you can always have a seat in child's pose or even in hero's pose and just reflect, right? Noticing the difference in both sides and noticing already this sense of calm and peacefulness slowly starting to um, take over your body. When you're ready, we're heading to our second side. So coming back to all fours, and I'm going to check the time. You're going to take your left arm this time underneath as you're here towards that right side. Tuck your chin under as you're here. And again, walk your your right leg off to the side, tucking your chin in slightly, moving your left shin bone if you need to on a diagonal, and finger crawl your right hand forward. So I'm doing, as I'm here, I'm doing what we call mirror technique. So my left is your right, and vice versa, as I am facing the camera, so that you don't get confused, okay? Otherwise, here's what it looks like from the second side, okay? So I'm on the blanket, my knees are padded, and then I'm walking my left hand off to the side. So this is actually my left side. And I'm gonna kickstand my right leg off. Notice my left shin bone pivots a little bit so I can really get in towards that left shoulder blade. I can hold on to my calf as I'm here. And I can also place that right arm behind me, or I can walk that right hand up, if you can see, up and over. Really breathing in towards that left shoulder blade. Again, I apologize for the camera or for the microphone. Hopefully it's not, hopefully I'm clear as I'm here. And since that might be blocking the microphone, I'll just talk you through it. So again, as you reflect here, right, again, noticing if in your pose, is there something in your pose that is taking away from the pose? So you can even use this in your situation on your mat, right? Are you over-engaging, maybe unconsciously, muscularly efforting in the posture? Now you don't need to do that for yin. You don't need to strive to your deepest stretch, right? That is almost defeating the practice of yin, right? The essence of yin. So we want to, as we here, manage our energy in a way where it's not depleting. So are you wasting or letting the energy drip away in areas where you don't need to engage, whether it's your mind, your thoughts, whether it's engaging your jaw, your eyes, or those accessory muscles, right? Things that you don't need to engage, you can slowly let that go. And then you can really feel the full potential of the pose, right? Feel that full potential. Breathing in and softly breathing out. Again, one more slow, deep in breath. And slow, deep out breath. When you're ready, slowly slide your right hand back in, okay? And slowly start to unravel that left arm, taking a moment to pause either in child's pose, whether you're sitting into hero's pose or Japanese seiza, as I am in right now, or maybe you're just kind of laying on your back as well. So that time for you is a beautiful time for you to reflect. Just take a few more cycles of breath. Again, you can always pause if you need to. And then when you're ready, go ahead and grab your strap, either your strap or your belt. I'm going to hold on to the buckle and the strap so that it doesn't hit the floor as I move it. Let's go ahead and do some mobility as we're here. Take your strap. It's going to be wider than shoulder width, and then take it down and forward. Take it all the way up, up, up towards the sky. Just be mindful of your mobility as you're here. You don't need to go all the way. If you're here, that's fine. And then as you're ready, go ahead and take a lateral side bend towards your right, towards your right. Breathing in. And slowly coming back to center. And then slowly towards your other side. Maybe looking up. And as you do this side to side, you can do this a couple more times. Just notice the shape, right? So I'm using, as I'm here, so I'm using that bottom hand to pull that top arm to get this opening through the lats, through the side of the lats as you're here, through the lungs. Okay, and then again, as I pull here, notice the bottom hand's gonna pull this up and over, and I'm gonna get that lateral side body stretch. Now, this idea is what we're gonna take when we come into our windshield wiper twist, okay? So go ahead and bring your strap down, and then grab your pillow. Grab your pillow, and let's make a little bit of a ramp for ourselves. This is one of my favorites. I'm gonna create this ramp behind me. And we're gonna land down onto our bolster. So we did a variation of this with the blocks earlier, okay? And make sure you have the strap handy. So back into your bolster and slowly land down onto it. Make sure it feels comfortable and secure. And then knees are gonna be about hip width, wider than hip width, mat width. And then you're just gonna windshield wipe your legs from side to side, okay? So the idea here is just adding a little bit of the front of the hips. Let me steady this one, it's kind of moving. Okay, so as I'm ready, my legs are gonna be stag legs. I'm gonna drop both legs to the left. And then you're gonna grab your strap. Grab your strap, I'm gonna hold on to the buckle. And then the same idea here, okay? So as I grab my strap, I'm gonna take my strap up overhead, and I'm gonna pull the right hand towards my right heel as I'm here, adding a little bit of side body stretch. You can turn your head towards the right side, make sure you feel supported, but I'm not pulling that strap too hard. It's just a guide as I'm here to guide my my left arm towards the right side, so I can get a soft opening through the left side of my ribs, the lung. I'm just checking the time. Just make sure we have the same amount of time on side number 1 as side number 2. So I'm taking this lateral side bend, and then I'm also getting a nice internal rotation of my right thigh and a little bit of opening in towards that right hip flexor. So you might notice this as well. Now, if your right knee comes up a lot, this is where you're gonna grab the block. So you can see my knee is down, but if it feels like it's tweaking your knee, I'm gonna put a block. I would do that, block or whatever you have, like a pillow too, to support the knee so it's a little bit more comfortable, and then taking this lateral side bend. Now, as you're here, I talked about energy drain, but now we're heading to the second signal or second indication where you should walk away, right? Environments, people that don't bring joy to you, right? It feels like an obligation. And I talked about number 1, energy draining, but if you're going to an environment where you feel like your energy's being drained, where you feel like it doesn't bring joy, because you want to be overwhelmingly happy, so it doesn't feel like it's an obligation, right? That's gonna change the whole way you come into the environment, right? Imagine going to an environment where you feel obligated. That's not alignment. If you come to an environment where you feel joy and everything just flows, right? So there's no resistance from you and from your body, then you know that you're in alignment. So as you're here, just breathe, finding joy, right? Even in this pose, is there, you do feel like obligated, like I need to do my best and I need to push a little bit further. Let go of that feeling of needing to do more, like the obligation, or the kind of the story in your mind that you need to do more, and let go of that. Deep in breath and deep out breath. We're going to take just a few more cycles of breath. Again, feel free to press pause on the video. I am going to head directly to the second side just for time purposes. But again, I always emphasize in all my videos that if you need more time to reflect on the words, or having space for yourself, or even in the pose physically, it's feeling like it's healing and helping you, then please do stay. Otherwise, as you're ready, go ahead and slowly bring your arms back up to center. Take your time to remove that side. And then we're going to head to second side. I'm going to move my block just slightly off. And then I'm going to take my legs 90-90. And from here, I'm going to reach my arms up overhead and then pull my hands, my left hand towards my left foot, as you're seeing here, a lateral side bend in our windshield wiper. Now you can see my right hand being supported by the bolster behind me. I'm getting a subtle opening in towards the right side of my rib cage. I'm getting a nice opening through the front of my left hip, opening through the lungs, into the heart space. So this all aligns with number one. Is it draining your energy? Is feeling that obligation, right? It shouldn't feel that way. It should feel like, yes, I want to do it. I feel joyful when I do it. So let's do it. If you constantly feel like, man, it's such an obligation, then where's the joy? And other people will notice it. Other people will feel the energy, and it's not a good energy. Now, these are just my thoughts. Hopefully, they're helpful for you. But if they're not, take it as it is. I want you to meet yourself where you're at. Well, take about 3 more cycles of breath. As you're ready, go ahead and release your strap. All right, slowly start to come all the way up. Roll towards that right side, come all the way up. Our final pose will be a seated forward fold. And this is where I'm going to take my bolster into what we call Stonehenge. So take your bolster into Stonehenge. If it's too much for you to sit in a straddle pose, feel free to bend one knee as you're here. Otherwise, I'm going to take straddle. And from here, I'm heading to shoulder stretch, here and here. Otherwise, take your arms crisscross and then begin to fold. Otherwise, here. And you can lean towards the side and let your left ear come down towards your left shoulder. Now for these final ones, I'm just going to spend a minute as I finish up, as I'm here. So I'm dropping my left ear down towards my left shoulder. This one I'm not mirroring. Maybe I'll just mirror for you guys. And that feels good for my neck. You can draw your chin down, center up, close your eyes. Breathe. Now third, my final one is, and this is all when I went on for a walk this morning, the clarity came. I was in friendships where they liked the old version of me, and I outgrew them. So in fact, I had to play small to stay in that relationship, that friendship. And it was uncomfortable to play small and not to be authentically me. And that wasn't serving me anymore. So at that point, I knew, as much as I had my time with them, I knew I had to leave. I need to leave that friendship, especially if they couldn't support me into the direction I was going. They were keeping me small. So I had to walk away. I had to really walk away from that. And that took a lot of courage, a lot of back and forth. It was very, very difficult. I cried a lot. But I'm in a moment, in a place where I'm really happy. And when you let go of things, you invite new people to come into your life. People who are in alignment, and then people who are on the same path as you. Let's go ahead and switch sides. Feel free to stay on that side. So draw your right ear down towards your right shoulder. So you'll just know, they're, in a way, I felt like they were criticizing me for wanting to do different things, or letting me grow into the direction where I wanted to. I had to hide it. And I didn't like that. I didn't enjoy that at all. So I had to really let that go. And so now I've invited new things. And this is still ongoing. All these three things, these indicators, I have to really look at, because I do have a tendency to be a perfectionist and a people pleaser. And I see that in myself. And I have to learn to heal that, because I don't want that to go into future generations, my offspring, my children. I want them to fight for themselves, to have respect for themselves, to have boundaries. So this work that I'm doing is really not only for me, but for healing my lineage, because that is part of the lineage that I grew up in. To play small, to not speak, to be submissive. And that's not me. And I'm happier. So feel free to stay. Otherwise, slowly start to come all the way up. Take a moment here just to notice how you feel. Now, this is where I'm going to leave you. But I do recommend a really nice, at least 10-minute Shavasana. A lot of things that I shared with you is a lot. So hopefully that will be helpful for you as you move through the week, or maybe if you're encountering some things that are really weighing heavy, to give you some perspective. But that's why I love the Yin practice. Is slow, and you can reflect and take little steps at a time. You don't need to take an overwhelming giant leap, but little steps. And that's what I'm doing too. So hopefully this practice really helps you, and share it with others if you can. Anyways, thank you for joining in. My name is Lisa Jang, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.